I remember my first gigs. I didn't even know what a monitor was. I just sit up there and sing for 4 hours straight. No monitor.
A lot of times, sound guy doesn't know what a monitor is either.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Grab the KY, get yourself ready. You got some sliding to do. Hanging out with TL and the boys, maybe some critters too. So get your phone and get on the gram. You know where to find the man. Slide into the DMs. Girl, what's on your mind? Slide into the DMs. But baby, take your time. Slide, slip it on in. Here we go again. DM Monday.
Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of the DM Monday podcast. I'm Trey Lewis. This is my podcast, and my co-host today, Mitch Wallace. Bonner's not here today, but we have a special guest today. He's a great songwriter. I've known him for many years of living in Nashville. Probably, I don't know, I've probably been here since I've been here since 2019, but I think I met him around 2020 before the world shut down, and I've seen him live in concert in action, playing with a country artist named Jon Pardi plenty of times before I even moved to Nashville. And we're gonna have a conversation. Terry Lee Palmer, what's up, man?
Howdy, everybody. What's up?
How you doing, man? How's your day been?
It's been pretty damn crazy, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah.
I had a couple things scheduled for today, and one of the things was this. And I wrote it 11 o'clock this morning, but then I had a couple more things move in. I had to be in the studio at 9 o'clock this morning to sing, which is the worst time to try and damn sing. In the morning when
it's the worst.
Hell, I woke up 7:30 this morning. That ain't wake up time for guitar players, man, or songwriters.
No,
it's really not.
Not for singing. I usually don't sing past noon, earlier than 10.
Yeah, it was rough. We got a little work done, and then I wrote a song. Then I did something. I did another thing, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
In between that and this, but I'm just glad I survived the damn hurricane to get up here. And
I'm glad you didn't have to come in here.
It was brutal out there, man.
Man, he was like, park across the street, and I'm like, I'm looking outside. I'm like, shit. Should I just wait until this thing blows over? Because I could, it could like.
You'd have came in here with wet hair, man.
I know at best, hell, man, the way it's going, there might be a damn hurricane out there right now or something. Could have been.
It was moving my truck around when I was at the red light.
Yeah, that's nuts, man.
That
But hey, I'm glad I got to be here, and I got in here, and I parked indoors, so I didn't get to have to get my hair wet.
Yeah.
Or my beautiful rattlesnake boots wet.
What kind of boots are those?
These are Tony Llamas.
Nice.
And I actually was gonna. We were down in Texas, and we were visiting the Stallion Boot Company, and they were gonna all make us all custom boots and stuff. We'll give you a deal, rattlesnake boots. Like only $1,500. I'm like, that's probably not a bad deal on some custom boots, but I did find these on good old Facebook Marketplace for $300, man. Dang. I'm like, well, I'll take a gamble on these. And
I love Facebook,
dude. It worked out great. I paid $300. I got a nice set of boots, and if I had paid $1,500 for them or $1,800 or whatever, and hated them, I'd be out that much, but I didn't. And these work great. They look good and they feel good. So,
do you have an extensive collection of boots, or are you like a 1 or 2
Not
pair
as
guy?
Man. I'm kind of like, I look at boots like I look at guitars. I can always have more.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of pairs of boots, but every time I look at my closet, much like I look at my guitars, I'm like, what's missing here? Is I could have a nice, gold top Les Paul. I've got this Les Paul, and I got my, my custom, and I got my wine red, and but I really like gold top. But it's kind of like boots too. It's like I got my snakeskin, I got my pythons, I got my lizards. Oh man, I could really use a set of caimans. I'm gonna get some caimans,
Yeah.
And so that's I think that it is with anything, man. Once you start acquiring stuff like boots or guitars, you always want more.
I started buying these Tacovas. But I've had 3 pairs of these, and they only go up like to here.
But that's good. That's really good, man. Because honestly, like for on stage and stuff, because you wear such tight jeans, and like I'll like my jeans on stage are like they're flared out, like I wear bell bottoms and stuff. But a lot
have
of
you
times
seen the Velcro things that you put on? Like if you have normal boots, you put them on there, and pulls.
Yeah,
them
and
tight.
I used to do that, like when I'd wear boots like this.
Yeah,
but
it seems like a lot of work though. You know what I mean?
it kind of is, but it does make it look better. And the lucky thing about the boots I wear on stage right now is they're kind of the short shaft, like the ones you have on right now. So it's like you don't really see them like on the upper part of your jeans. Yeah. So it's working out for me now. But if I wanted to wear these on stage, you'd probably you'd see the upper
Dude,
part.
I figured people would be trying to give you boots, man. What's up with that?
Well, man, I don't know what the hell is their problem, man. Yeah. Let's get on. Somebody get on that.
Yeah.
Who's out there?
Yeah.
Look at these beautiful Tony Llamas I got on. I mean, anybody want to try to up this? I'm just saying. Come on.
So I want to go back to the first time I ever saw you play live. And it's almost kind of weird for me, like, talking about this because, like, I feel like I was a fan of you before I met you,
That's awesome.
It was at y'all played a show in Iron City, Birmingham. Yeah. It was when Up All Night was the single.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's like, what, 2014?
That was 15? A while. Yeah, that was a while back. I remember. I think that show was with. I know Runaway June was on that show.
Yeah,
and I think Midland was even on that show too. Yeah. I could be mistaken, but I think that's
Iron City. It's pretty cool because like I've seen so many. I actually was an acoustic open like local guy. I opened that show.
Okay,
and it was just like an acoustic opener. It was like a radio show, and then I I being in like a hometown guy, I did a bunch of the radio shows, I would do them for free or like whatever. I didn't care. I was just happy to be there. And sometimes like I would always get a free ticket to the show, to watch. And a lot of the times, some of those acts coming through, I didn't really too much care for their music, or I would watch like 5 minutes of the show and be like, fuck, I'm out of here. But I watched y'all's show and I was like, damn, that's how you do a show,
I'm pretty sure back then, I have no doubt because we're still pretty lively on stage, even in our advanced stages of what we've been doing here. We've been on tour a long time. I have with Jon anyway, and we still have a good time and get wild on stage. But I can imagine back then we were probably madmen on the damn stage, man. We were probably
there was beer bottles shit everywhere, like
sure.
Like at the end of the night, like I was still in the
probably shot glasses everywhere.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Maybe some
great.
bras hanging off the mic stands. I would not doubt that, man.
But y'all did like this cool like rock and roll thing, like during the set where like y'all played like a rock mashup, I don't know, it was awesome. Y'all still do something like that?
Oh, I mean, not really anymore. And I mean, honestly, man, Jon's gotten to the point where he's got so many hits.
Yeah,
that
y'all are just playing greatest hits.
You got to fit all those in there. I mean, we still play a lot of cool stuff. Like, hell, he's got his new record out, and we're playing stuff that's not, a single or on the radio, and it's fun to play, and it's and it goes over well too because he's just got good songs, man. Yeah. He does. So we do a lot of that stuff too. But man, it's still fun, man. I love Jon because I love him and hate him at the same time for this reason is like he, ever since we've started playing together, I've always kind of been his main like backing vocalist. And anytime like there's a spot, he'll just look at me and, be like, do something, Terry, or whatever. And from, from the early days, I've always like, man, I got to be on my toes, man. Yeah. I gotta know what to say to the crowd. I gotta, play this good, not be stupid or not say something dumb. But here lately, like we'll do a song and he'll let me like I'll sing a verse and to the crowd and all this stuff, and I'll do my little spiel, be like, "What's up, Birmingham? How y'all doing? One thing I know about Birmingham, y'all roll tight, some bitches, what? And so give me a little chance to kind of do my thing, man, and it's fun for me to kind of get to shine a little bit in that way, and I think Jon loves it. I've always kind of been his little comic relief on stage.
You're like a part of the brand. You know what I mean?
Well,
in a sense.
I mean, I kind of feel like it's hell. I've been there since day one.
That's kind of like how I like interpret it. My long my longest band member for a long time. He's with me for 12 years. He's not with me anymore, but we're still cool. We're still friends. His name's Terry too.
Oh yeah.
And but he was part of the brand. You know what I mean? And and people loved him. People would come to the shows. Back before we had a song pop off, and some people just came just to see him. They didn't even give a shit about me. You know what I mean?
Really? Yeah. They were making sure they were front stage on his side.
Well, I really hope people, look at it that way too. With me, anyway. I mean, I know that they're buying the damn ticket to see Jon Pardi, but
for sure.
I would hope that if they came to the show, they'd be like, man, I just, I want to see what Terry does as well, And
Let's go back to where you from. Are you from Florida?
Well, no, my family's from Houston, Texas,
okay.
man. I was born in Houston, Texas, and I really grew up in a place called Cunningham, probably about an hour from here.
Okay.
And way, way out in the damn middle of nowhere sticks. And it's kind of it's kind of funny because I've kind of been dubbed Texas Terry Lee from Tennessee because I'm like, I tell everybody, like, where are you from? I'm like, well, I'm from Texas. I love Texas. All my sports teams were from Texas. Mm-hmm. Man, all my family's from Texas. Some of my favorite places and memories and places I love to go are from Texas. And I just love the whole vibe and all that. But, I mean, literally, when I was about 8 or 9 years old, my parents moved me up here to the country, like the real country.
Yeah,
country songs these days, honestly, from my perspective, you got a lot of people talking about, oh man, we're hanging out at the bonfire. I got my 4-wheel in my, brand new Silverado, and we're gonna go deer hunting. And I'm like, fuck no, that wasn't the way it was when I was growing
cut
up.
Off blue jeans and buttholes.
Yeah, it was fucking rough, man. It was like shit, man. It's raining hard. I hope the creek don't rise so much I can't get across to go to school or. Shit, I got to get home, do my homework because I got to go bush hog this field, or some shit like that. And, hunting, screw that, son. You're going to, we got work to do out here. There's stuff to do there. It wasn't all like bonfires and fun and games where I grew up. It was like this is the real damn country.
Yeah, survive or die.
And I'm coming from, like Houston, Texas, where we lived in a subdivision, My best friend was too close, two houses down. And back out then, it wasn't like that out there, So it was definitely something different when we did move to Tennessee.
Kind of a culture shock, huh?
Yeah. It was because I'd never experienced that, But that's how I grew up, And I wouldn't trade it for the world,
Yeah.
I really wouldn't, honestly.
I'm taught you what hard work was all about.
It did, right? And I'm proud to be where I'm from and have gotten to where I am, in the music industry just. From being down the road and just coming from nothing is like, all right, there's Nashville right there just waiting for me.
Yeah.
Let's go out there and give it a try.
Did you grow up listening to country music or did you were in the church or?
Man, I to be honest with you, like and I have a song about this and it's a very true song. It's like literally how I started learning about music.
Is this song out?
No.
Okay.
It's not out.
But coming soon?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
If I don't cut it, hopefully somebody does. But it's literally a song about how I learned about music, and it was from my parents' album collection.
Yeah.
And they had everything. I mean, I love rock and roll music. I grew up on rock and stuff, and when I was a teenager, I loved the 80s hair bands and stuff.
Yeah.
But the first rock and roll I heard was, stuff like Boston and ZZ Top, And then in that same record collection, my parents had like Waylon and the Outlaws, and they had Hank Jr., So there was everything for me. And so when I was a kid, I'd just throw on. And back then, you had these awesome album covers. You could open them up, see all the pictures, read all the lyrics, and be like, oh, I like this song, or I like the words of this song, or whatever. And it didn't matter if it was country or rock. I kind of had it all right there in front of me, and that's really how I learned about music.
I was talking to a buddy today. I was like, if we meet and you can't put on the Hank Williams Jr. greatest hits and like sing every word to every song, then you've never you haven't lived. We're probably not going to get along.
No, because every one of those is a great hit, and it's just good music, man. It is, and I'm thankful to have been able to kind of grow up and learn music in a time when that was what I had, because these days, man, it's just there is so much out there, man.
It is. There's so many ways to consume music as well too.
There really is, man.
Back in the day, it was just the radio and record collections.
That's it, dude. That's how.
Well, I was talking to I have a good friend in town. He's a songwriter. His name's Dawson Edwards, and we this is like one of the first times we ever hung out, and we were over at our buddy Nick's house. Nick Haynes, you know Nick. I think
yes,
so.
I do know Nick. How do I know Nick?
He probably from Porch Light rounds and stuff, and the local. We'd written a lot of songs together, but we were over at Nick's house and we were hanging out, and we wanted to hear the song "Feeling Better" by Hank. It's like a later on song that he put out later on, but we were like, play "Feeling Better" by Hank Williams Jr. And Nick goes, y'all want to hear the live version? And without hesitation, both at the same time said, no, Hank sucks live. And I knew then and there in that moment that we were going to be friends forever.
I've heard some stories about that and heard some things,
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I've only got to see Hank a handful of times live, and it's been recent.
Yeah.
And and I obviously I love his music, so I was very excited about seeing him live, and he did very good, man. He was out there, he was playing the fiddle, he was playing the piano, he was playing everything, and I'm like, damn, man, this is awesome. This guy's cool, but he
changed the words and stuff. Yeah.
Well, he would do everything, but then he would inevitably leave the stage like 10 to 15 minutes before his set was over. So his band's just sitting there jamming, and I was like, where the fuck did Hank go? And I'm like, oh, he's done. He's done what he's going to do, and he's gone. But he did it really well, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm sure, it had to do something with all the beers I had or the whiskey I had or whatever.
Yeah,
but
he's a legend, dude.
Yeah, I did love it. It was good.
So when did you get your first guitar? Was that when you were like, I want to play guitar, Dad, or what?
Well, what's funny is my first guitar was my mom's guitar.
Yeah.
And what happened is my dad bought my mom an acoustic guitar when they got married or before they got married. And that's actually where my journey in music begins first, is because when, we moved out to Cunningham, Tennessee, we're dirt poor. I mean, we're living in a used single wide trailer,
Yeah.
And then we upgraded to a double wide trailer. So, if that's not a fucking song,
I live it, baby.
But my mom, my dad, he would commute to Nashville back and forth every day. So my mom was stuck at home with us kids.
Yeah.
So she had to entertain us somehow. So she had this old acoustic guitar, and she'd sit and play for us and sing all the songs she probably wore out, singing them over and over again. Me and my sister we'd jump on the bed and dance around, and one of our favorites was La Bamba. It was the best.
Yeah.
So
La Bamba.
So we would dance
awesome.
to that shit all the time, every day. She'd be up there playing the songs and stuff, and eventually, I guess that's kind of how I gravitated to guitar, and that was my first guitar. And I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm listening to Bon Jovi and stuff, and I'm like, this don't look like Bon Jovi's guitar.
This ain't the right kind.
I don't want this thing.
Yeah.
Get me a Bon Jovi guitar. And they're like, no, learn on that thing first. So that was my very first guitar, was my mom's.
Do you still have it?
Actually, I do. And what happened is on a few years back on my birthday, or on my mom's birthday, she, I never know what to get my parents. They got everything, and they don't ever want nothing. So it had been sitting in a case for years, basically not being played. So I just took it into my luthier and had him go through it all, set it up, get new strings on it, and get it playing real good. And I gave it to her, and it's like, here, I got this playing for you, good, Mom. And I don't know if she's ever played it, but I think it's just the thought that it's kind of back to the way she was, when she was playing.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I don't have my first guitar. I lent it to my sister, and it got stolen. But I wish that I still had that thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, there's blood on that thing.
I got my grandfather's guitar.
I didn't even know what
cool.
a pick was. I remember my first gigs. I didn't even know what a monitor was. I would just sit up there and sing for 4 hours straight. No monitor.
A lot of times, sound guy doesn't know what a monitor is either.
Oh yeah, for sure. Does any sound guy know what a monitor is? You know,
Well,
even the ones that are paid really well to do
Well,
it.
you know, when you get to John status, you got different guys that run that shit. But you know, like if you're playing in the club days or whatever, man, you're just kind of like, I'm at your mercy, whatever.
Yeah.
I need more of this, more of this, more of this. Well, I guess that's all I'm getting.
Yeah, I've been on in-ears for how long you say, Matt? About 7 years now. I've probably been on in-ears for like 7 years now, but it's like I still love my in-ears just loud as I can get them. Like,
well, man, and you know why? Because it's so hard to just get that live feel, man.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't, you know, you want to every now and then I'll pop one out and I can hear the crowd, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is the way it used to be.
Do you run an amp on stage, or you?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I didn't know if you were a Kemper guy or
no, hell no. Everybody, as a matter of fact, everybody on stage on Jon Pardi's concert, all of our guys, guitar players, fiddle player, keyboard, we all have, you know, some sort of amplification, like some sort of speaker pushing the sound. And we're very proud of that. And because I mean, there's just nothing like the sound or the feel of a speaker going through a microphone, man.
110%.
And it's just too, man. That's just the old school way. If you really want to feel it, I feel like that's just the way it is. Yeah. Now's a good time to plug car amplifiers.
Yeah, I was wondering what you
out of Pittsburgh, North Carolina. They're definitely in the world of boutique amplifiers, the best, and that's what all the guitar players on stage use.
Awesome.
Myself, John, and our other guitar player Derek, we all have a car amplifier. So there we go.
Nice. There's that's in there. I was wondering what you used.
Yeah.
Our guys. Ben Miller, he's my band leader and guitar player.
Ben Miller, hold on.
Yeah.
I think I know Ben.
Yeah. He
tall guy, blonde hair.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He was interesting story. He I used to play for a guy named Mark Wills back 20 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And Ben was he was on tour with us. I can't remember what he was doing. He wasn't playing guitar, but maybe he was doing something in that capacity. But I remember being on tour with Ben back then. He was hanging around a good bit.
He's been on tour with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done it all, man. We really appreciate his wisdom.
Nice.
in our thing. But
well, Ben, if you're listening, hey, what's up, bud?
He had a huge amp. It was ridiculous. What was it, Mcilwain?
I forgot exactly what it was, but he had two 40-watt amps or 50-watt amps, and we had to put, like, anytime we were somewhere, we had to put it in a closet.
Yeah, like playing these small clubs and stuff. And our sound guy was just like, you know, pretty much. He's like, "That's it. I'm buying a Kemper." So he has a Kemper now, and then and then our other guitar player runs a Kemper, but he runs it through a Fender amp, so you still have that stage volume. But
I get that. Yeah.
But that's awesome that y'all do that, and I think one day when we finally get to a point to where we're, on the status that those guys will go back to,
I mean, and I'm sure that like our sound guys are like, God, I wish they'd just get a Kemper, man.
Yeah.
It'd be so much easier. But I mean, if you want to do something good, you want to do something right, it ain't always easy. So. Sometimes you got to plug in and crank it up, and at the end of the day, I think.
Yeah, I mean, how you gonna play what I can't put down without an amp on stage?
I mean,
you know what I mean?
You in drop D, man. You got to feel that speaker shaking, man. It's just it's so much better, man. You hit that chord, and you're like, I know there's some air being pushed somewhere, man, and it's because of me.
Yeah.
It's really because of the bass player, I guess.
So how old were you when you moved down here? From what's it called? What's that hometown called?
Oh, Cunningham. Yeah, that's right. It's like about a half hour from Clarksville, way out in the sticks. Yeah. Well, hell, I went to college first at MTSU.
Nice. For music.
Yeah. Which is a complete waste of damn time. Let me tell you right now.
Were your parents for you doing music stuff?
No. They're like, oh no, you need to go
get a real job.
You need to have something to fall back on. And I'm like, you're just telling me I'm going to fail at this.
Yeah.
I got told to get a real job over there.
And it's just like, look, I'm like, look, guys, you know, I'm doing this. I don't care what anybody says. I'm doing this. I'm doing music for a living. And I went to school there for a couple of years, and I basically got what I needed, you know, as far as I took all the music classes, and they make you take all the bullshit classes too.
Commercial songwriting.
No, I never took that because, you know,
Was songwriting a part of it at this
no,
point?
it wasn't.
Cool.
I don't
Yeah,
think
just
they
guitar.
even. I don't think they even offered like those type of classes back then.
Yeah.
Did you know that you were good at guitar at this point, or were you still kind of figuring it out?
Well, no, I knew that like okay, I can, you know, I'm better than anybody else in this town. You know, not where I lived. I'm
like
like
your buddies. You were like, I'm better than that guy.
yeah, I can do this better
Yeah.
than anybody here. Basically, I just went to college to learn everything that couldn't be taught where I was from.
Yep.
And, you know, I went there and like I said, I took all the, you know, English, lit, and geology and all that crap too, just because you have to take it. But then I was taking all the music theory classes. I had classical guitar classes. I had jazz band, you know, all that stuff. Just an effort to learn as much about music as I possibly could. And then I moved back to Clarksville for a little while, and I went to school there too because there was a really, really good classical guitar teacher that had come there from, I think he was from New York or something. No, he's from London. That's what it was. No, that's where he was from North Texas, which is a great music school, and he came to Clarksville. So I went there to study with him, and I was real big into classical guitar and doing all that. Then basically I kind of figured out, I'm like, well, you know, what am I going to do with a music degree? Be a music teacher? No, I don't like kids, so that's not going to work. And I don't want to teach. I hate all that crap. I'm trying to get away from school as fast as I can. So I just basically took all the knowledge I got, you know, in school, and I was like, well, I'm moving to Nashville, and I'm going to...
Was guitar the only instrument that you ever dabbled in?
Man, you know, anything was strange. You just give me a few minutes with it, I'll figure it out. Maybe not a fiddle. That's a little too much. But
I think once you learn the theory, you're good, right?
yeah, I mean, you can find out where the notes are, you know. But I mean, guitar. I mean, I play bass and a little bit of keyboard too. But guitar is the only thing that I look at it this way. I can carry my acoustic guitar in anywhere,
Yeah.
and I can sit down and I can play a song for somebody.
Yeah,
right.
You know.
Change
You can't
their
really
life.
do that with any other instrument.
Yeah.
You know, you really can't. So that's a beautiful thing about the guitar. You know, it's like, hey, play me a song. Well, hell, no problem.
Yeah. Got this thing right here.
There we go. You know, and
So did you graduate MTSU or were you?
oh no, I didn't graduate any of that stuff, man.
Yeah.
I just like I said, I took whatever knowledge I could, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Getting a degree in music wasn't going to do me any good.
Yeah.
It was going to waste my time, and I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to get into the game and start playing, start writing, you know, and have a career in music. So
Was this young? I mean, did you go to college, you know, during the normal age?
yeah,
For me,
right,
I worked a couple years after high school before I got the chance to go.
now I went like right after, like the next year after I graduated from high school.
Hell yeah.
I took the summer, but then right after that I was.
So you leave college, and your parents really pissed at that point, huh?
You know, at that point, I don't really know if they could have been pissed. They were already divorced. My dad was living in another state, and my mother was. I think she might have been living in Germany at the time because
damn.
she married a guy from. He was stationed at Fort Campbell up near Clarksville.
Yeah.
Clarksville. Mhm.
And they did live in Germany for a time. I can't remember if that's when I was in school or not. But I mean, I think both my parents probably knew, you know, pretty soon after I graduated that you know that's not what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
I was not trying to get my degree, so just in case I didn't get a gig playing guitar, I could go, you know,
Be a teacher or something.
Yeah.
It
There's
seems
no
like
way.
you kind of had your mindset though, so your family had to, at that point, be like, all right, you know, he knows what he fucking wants. We're just gonna let him do it.
They probably did, and I know they were only looking out for my best interest, you know,
Yeah.
in life in general. Because, as we all know, man, you can come to this town, you can be awesome, and you and you can go home with your tail between your legs, man.
Quit.
It can happen, but there was no failing.
No plan B.
There was none.
Yeah, you were.
I'm
all
like,
alone.
no, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
That's it. Like that, I'm not going to fail at this. There's no way I'm going to. I wouldn't want to say at that point it was confidence. I think I just want to say at that point it's like it was desire.
Yeah.
And it was drive. And that's like, this is all I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to be on stage with the guitar, entertaining people, singing to them or playing to them. And, that's what I want to do. And there's no other option.
Yeah.
That's it. So
what do you do? Do you like hit, is Broadway like a thing back then, or what do you?
no, I never really, man, I didn't play a whole lot on Broadway. I didn't.
Was Broadway a thing at that point? Like, was it a big tourist act?
Well, man, I think it always kind of has been.
Yeah.
But I tell you what happened when I moved back to town, or when I moved to town for good, is I would go out to, they had all these bars that ain't around anymore.
Yeah.
But they would have these like blues jams. You go and you're like, I'm going to take my guitar and go jam on this, 1-4-5 thing, whatever. And it was easy because I'd just go play some, some old Allman Brothers song or some old ZZ Top song or something like that.
Yeah, the Whipping Post is my favorite album, bro.
And everybody in the band would know it. And you're like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And you just get up there and shred and you'd meet people and just kind of work your way up that way.
Do you have the long hair and has this always been your look?
Well, I think I've always had the long hair, but like this
evolves over time.
What is that called? What is that?
This is I think technically,
he's a thoroughbred All-American.
That's a good way to describe it. Thoroughbred All-American. I like that.
Basically a bald eagle.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think I'm a bald eagle. That's funny because that's like all the guys in the band are, they're always like sending me memes of like bald eagles flying and shit. I'm like,
Dude, you're basically, we did basically have a bald eagle sitting right next to us.
I'm absolutely fine with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
we'll take it.
I'm okay with all of that.
Like if you wonder what America looks like, it looks like Terry Lee Palmer.
Hey man, and I'm drinking an ice cold Miller Lite. If anybody is,
he's a bald eagle sitting in front of an American flag back there in the background,
dude.
drinking some Miller Lite.
That's right.
I love it. I love it,
There
man.
you go.
The situation couldn't get any better. Let me tell you something, man.
Yeah.
On that topic, so your name is Terry Lee Palmer. That's
Yes, sir.
That's just for some reason that's an epic name. Like, do people call you Terry? Do they call you Terry Lee, or do they just call you Terry Lee Palmer?
Well, I mean,
What do you get the most?
I hope they call me Terry Lee because I look at it this way, man. If you're gonna do this and you're gonna go all the way and you're gonna be who you are and you're gonna have this persona, and you really want people to pay attention to you and to understand what you're about, and on top of that, at the core, really love what you do and love your music, well, then go all the way. I mean, technically, you can call me Terry Palmer.
Yeah.
That's my name, but you put my middle name in there, Terry Lee Palmer. Well, shit, that gives it a whole new level, a whole new element.
Yeah, I call you Terry Lee Palmer. Anytime I talk about you, I'm like, yeah, Terry Lee Palmer.
Well, there you go, because that's how I introduce myself. Hey, I'm Terry Lee,
Yeah.
good to meet you, And that automatically is like, it's going to get somebody intrigued about you. So do whatever you can to be like, all right, I stand out. This is, I know I'm good at this. I know I'm good at that. Take it up to the next level. What else can I do to separate myself from everybody else to make people understand, hey, I'm different. I'm going to do something different. You're going to love it.
Yeah, I think
That's it.
I just want to take a second for anybody listening. That's marketing,
Yeah.
That's before social media and all the bullshit, I hear in town, I own a digital marketing company. That's what I do.
Okay.
It's content. And I hear a lot of people bitch and complain about content. They don't want to be on TikTok. They don't want to be on Instagram. Well, that's fine. But what you just said is, that's like grassroots marketing. If you want to, so.
Well, and you got to start somewhere, man. Here's my take on that. And I hope I don't get off a little bit too much on this because I could maybe
Get on that soapbox,
I could
dude.
maybe rant
Let's
a little
go.
bit.
This
about
is America, baby.
Okay, but I think that's what's wrong with a lot of the social media things going on is that people don't really know how to market themselves when they get on TikTok or Instagram. They don't understand that because they don't understand who they are.
Yeah.
They don't have an identity. They just get on there and do something.
Follow
and
trends.
And they get all these followers. And then all of a sudden, people are like, oh, that's what's cool. And I'm like, no, that's not what's cool. That's just what, the bandwagon is following. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
And let me tell you something. There's always another bandwagon. There's a train of fucking bandwagons lined up, ready for the next TikTok or next, Instagram or whatever. That doesn't really set you apart. What you actually do and how you actually carry yourself and compose yourself and what you actually do as far as a musician or a singer or a songwriter in real life, in real time, in front of people.
What you stand for.
What you stand for as well. That's what sets you apart. And that's a concept that is completely lost these days because of the whole social media craze. It really is. It's nobody knows how to be themselves because they get on camera and they try to be somebody else, and they get all these people that kind of follow that, and then all of a sudden they're this huge thing, but they don't really know who they are.
Yeah, they try to be what's trending, and they try to be what's working. And the biggest thing I preach is vulnerability. Just be yourself, and humans will connect with what that is, because we're all humans.
Exactly.
And so
but
some people might not like you, but people will like that because they'll see themselves in it because you're a human.
And this is the way I look at it, man. I've got a project coming out here, hopefully pretty soon, and I guarantee you that a lot of people are not going to like it.
Yeah.
And it's not because of what I say or what I do. It's just that it's not the popular thing. But I'm going to connect with an audience, hopefully, that is disconnected because they don't understand all the social media stuff, and they don't understand that. Like, why is this person? I'm going to connect with this audience who's basically been left behind, and I'm like, these people here, they need something too. Yeah. So I'm going to put this out. I'm going to give it to them, and hopefully it's something that they can grasp onto.
Yeah. That's like a prime example. A guy that we've had on our podcast, he's one of our friends, Cody Parks. He sings the intro song.
Okay.
Yeah. Like he does, like he likes mixing country and fucking metal music together.
Yeah.
It's wild. Their shows at Live Oak, their Filthy Fridays and all that stuff.
They're great, dude.
It's wild, but it's unlike anything I've ever seen before. You know what I mean?
There's nothing even close.
It's not like butt rock country. It's like it's its own thing. You know what I mean? Nobody else is doing it, and I love it.
And that sounds like the type of thing that I would probably totally get into, man.
Yeah, he's a badass dude.
I really am, first and foremost, I come from a rock and roll background, and that's really what I love. And and I do love country music too, man. But I love the old school shit, and I love the Waylon and Willie and and that kind of stuff. And that's the kind of stuff that's going to reflect in anything that I put out,
Yeah.
Plus the rock stuff.
Of course.
Yeah. So let's get back to it. So you're just going around to these blues bars and playing and stuff. What's your like first gig? Your first like, hell yeah, I know you have it in your mind, like you're gonna do this no matter what. But like, I feel like as a creator, as a creative person, we always kind of have that like, am I like doing the right thing, or like, am I crazy for chasing this dream? And then you have that moment that's like, okay, well, cool. I'm making a living now, or like, I'm not living on a mattress on the floor anymore. Like, I actually just bought a dresser and a bed. Like, what was that moment for you?
Man, that's a tough one, because I think it maybe was the first like road gig that I had out of here was a guy named Shane Martin. He was a singer, and he had kind of a thing going on. And we went and did that, and then right after that, I got another road gig, and doing a lot of casinos, traveling a lot in the van, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, things are picking up, you know, and I think before I knew it, you know, a few years down the road, I was actually buying a house, and I'm like, and this is like probably like in the Mark Wills days, you know, and I'm like, okay, this. I'm actually making I'm making a house payment instead of paying rent or something like that, you know. I think it was just a lot of steps. I didn't really realize it until maybe that point, you know, because at that point, you know, hell, man, I was in my 20s and I was just out there having a good time, you know.
Yeah.
And
When you were with Mark Wills, was it like 19 something era? Or was it like Don't Laugh at Me era?
it was past both those eras.
Okay, cool. Well, so this is a cool story. So CMA week, I went to the rooftop,
Sky Deck.
Skydeck. And like I was in the bathroom and I came out and I heard "We Kiss Goodbye at the Terminal Gate," and I was like, "Holy shit, fucking Mark Wills!"
Wish you were here.
Like I love that song, dude.
Great
It's so
song.
good. That whole record was like, you know, I was probably 8 years old when that thing came out.
Yeah.
But that, to me, I mean, that's good country music, you know?
Man, it is. And I tell you something about that guy, man. He's a hell of a singer, man.
Yeah.
He, you know, he really is, man. I just, you know, I remember, I mean, obviously doing shows with him, but we'd be on the bus and stuff, like playing, jamming, whatever, you know, and he'd just be singing. We'd be playing along to something that we were just playing.
Yeah.
I'd be listening. I'm like, damn, that guy's like a really, just a hell of a singer, man.
So I walk out there and I'm just like, I'm not front row, but I'm like, you know, hanging.
Yeah, we're in there. We're having a good time.
I'm in there. I'm having a good time. Like he's playing, like, you know, playing all his hits and stuff. And this guy walks up to me and he's like, "Hey man, I'm Mark's tour manager. We would love you to come back after the show and meet Mark." And I was like, "Hell yeah, I'll do that."
That's
Like,
cool.
you know. So
Yeah.
I go back there. I'm excited as fuck to meet him, but his kids are excited to meet me. So it was like,
That's
cool.
great.
Yeah, we got a picture together, and like he posted it, and I was like, "This is weird." Like it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's fucking
wild.
great, man. That's
Yeah.
great.
yeah.
I
But
me-
dude, like he looks and like sounds like he did back in the
It
day.
was incredible.
Like,
It was a great show.
great. Yeah.
So you're playing with Mark Wills. Are you writing songs yet at this
Yeah.
point?
Man, I've always written songs, man. It doesn't matter, but you know, because it was definitely before I came to Nashville, it was nothing that was being written here, man. I was always trying to write. I've always, as a guitar player, man, I've always tried to write songs that were more complex than your basic country song.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to come to town and do like a rock band and like have all these, you know, crazy melodies, but also, you know, have the songs be more compositions and stuff. And, you know, I quickly realized when I got here, I'm like, well, this ain't what this town's about at all. You know, you got to write the 3 chords and the truth and all this stuff. So I kind of, everything I knew about songwriting, I kind of had to redevelop it just because that's, if you're going to be a songwriter, if you're going to write songs for other people, you have to really keep that in mind, you know.
Mhm.
They don't want a song with 12 chords in it
Yeah.
and a complex
yeah,
melody.
most guitar players and you know most people that sing songs in Nashville don't know 12 chords. You know,
They don't. They
it's
know
5 and capo on the 12th fret.
Right. So, you
I'm
know.
one of them.
I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. I tell you what, I've written a ton of songs that were, you know, 4 or 5 chords or less, and I'm like, damn, you know, if I walk away from it thinking, damn, that's probably one of the best songs I've ever written, you know. I mean,
I mean, some of the biggest hits are 4 chords.
Yeah.
You know,
and so there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, man. And if you can keep, you know, building on something that simple and make it new and fresh and good every time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, man. That just means that you have, you know, a great creative ability,
yeah,
you know. And I think that's what songwriting is a lot of times, man, is you have to find something great, big, and something very, you know, limited and small, you know. And if you can do that, you know, then, you know, that's a great thing. And I think there have been a lot of great songs that have just come from that. you
Yeah.
know?
yeah.
So it's very special if you can do that. And I work at it all the time and every day on top of, trying to write the 12 chord songs that I like.
Yeah.
So you kind of there definitely has to be a balance.
A balance, yeah. It's like
sure.
All right, well, I'm gonna write. I think my buddies, but one of my best friends here in town, his dad was a big time songwriter back in the day, and his dad used to say, 4 days a week you write songs for them, and then 1 day a week you write one for yourself.
And I think that's a great way to look at it, because I think that probably 1 day a week you have some sort of creative energy that you've built up that you can't express those other 4 days a week, but you got to get it out.
Yeah.
And so you might as well do it, and even if it's just for you, because you have to do it, because you can't just let it sit there, man. You have to get it out, and if you don't, it's going to bother you, and it's not going to help you be a songwriter.
Yeah.
So even if it's not for somebody, even if it never gets heard, even if you sit on your back porch and you play that song for yourself or for your dog or for your wife or whatever, and it gives you peace and they enjoy it, then it had to be done.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be done.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about you starting Jon's band. Did you start it? I think I read something somewhere that
I didn't start it. I started in the beginning with him.
Yeah.
Me and and Jon's bass player Lee Francis, we had a rock band.
That's right.
And we would tour, Southeast, playing bars and frat parties and all that stuff. It was a lot of fun. We had a good time.
Were you singing?
I was a singer and guitar player. Lee was bass player.
Mm-hmm.
And we would go do, freelance work for other country artists and singers that would come to town just when we had time off. And, to be quite honest with you, a lot of times the music was not really what we wanted to play. But if they're like, hey, we'll pay you this much, bring your band and, help me do a show or a showcase. Like, all right, we'll learn you tunes, whatever. And Lee met Jon, and he's like, man, you need to hear this guy. I think we need to start playing with him. And he sent me his music, and I was like, yeah, I do like this guy. He's got a totally different sound. He's got good songs. I'm like, I'm really into this. It's like, I would love to do this. And the funny thing about it, and if Jon ever hears this, I don't know, he might be mad at me. Probably not.
We can take it out if you want to. Yeah.
But Lee was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna tell Jon about you. And I was like, yeah, man, I'd love to come do some shows. And Jon was like, no, man, I'm playing lead guitar. I'm lead guitar player. And Lee's like, man, you should really let Terry come and do some shows with you, play lead guitar. He's like, no, man, dude, I got my Telecaster. I'm good, man. I'm good. And Lee was like, kept on. I was like, man, does he want me to come play guitar yet? And he's like, I'm working on it. And we did a rehearsal over at SIR one day before one of his showcases, and I was going to play. And I get in there and I learn all the songs. And later on, Lee came up to me and he's like, yeah, man, Jon came up to me and said, yeah, man, Terry should play guitar. And so that's how it all happened. And ever since then, we did, it was always me and Lee, and we, did all the showcases with Jon until he got a record deal. And then we just, we're his band, and we're like the only two actual surviving members, since the beginning. And, pretty proud to say that, man, because
that's a big deal, man. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Trust me, I know.
It's not something that really happens a lot in this town. And, and I really did like what Jon did, and I liked his music, and, I believed in it, and it was a lot of work and a lot of years, but I mean, look at him now, man.
Now y'all are about to be on a world tour.
Yeah, literally.
My roommate Ella's gonna be out there with y'all on some shows, so that's how I know.
Yeah, awesome, dude. We're looking forward to it.
No plan B again.
No plan B again.
Mm-hmm.
Never a plan B. Is there any songs in the current set where Jon takes lead guitar for a little bit, or does that ever get switched out a little bit?
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, it's not everything's pretty scripted, and pretty much like if he wants to take a solo, he'll just step out there on the catwalk and just start playing, and everybody just kind of knows like, okay, John's, he's gonna shine for a minute and take a little bit for himself, and and I have to be honest with you, man. I've heard a lot of artists try to play guitar, and I'm like, man,
I don't know if I would do that.
Just let me handle it. But Jon, like, he's not, as far as like playing some leads and stuff, he's not that bad, man. He can get it. He can kind of, sometimes I'll hear him like, he'll be on something and I'll be like, man, he's all right. He's doing good. Yeah, that sounds good. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Now, every now and then, but I have those moments too, I guess. Everybody does,
So I have a guitar question for you. Have you ever bought a guitar at Highland Music in Birmingham?
Highland Music. I don't know if I have bought a guitar in Birmingham.
Yeah.
There's a
I knew John bought one at Highland Music. That was like the talk of the town. That's a music. It's an old music store. It's like it looks like it's like a historic build, like an old building.
Okay.
The parking shitty out front, like
okay.
It's not like a Guitar Center. It's like but I remember like that's where you go and all hang out and talk about your gigs, that week. And they were like, yeah, that's where the Sam amps.
What did he buy? What did he?
I think he just bought like a Telecaster or something like that. Yeah,
man, was it a Wayland Telecaster?
It was a long time ago. Yeah.
Did it have the Wayland like binding and shit on it?
Yeah, the bindings.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's the same place I bought a guitar too, man. It is because I remember him coming in there and they had all kinds of guitars on the wall and like a bunch of old amps and shit.
Yep.
Yeah, I got I went in there and
shout out to Highland Music.
Highland Music, thank you. They actually I bought it's called a Greco.
Oh yeah,
and it's a Japanese copy of it was a '76 Japanese copy of a Stratocaster.
Yeah.
And I bought it, and it's like $400. But it's a great little guitar. I mean, shout out to Greco.
How many guitars do you have right now?
Man, I don't even know, to be honest with you.
Over 100, probably?
No. I wouldn't know where to put them, man. Probably, I don't know, 20 or 30. That's including...
If you had to pick one guitar in your collection that like means the most to you, like if house catches on fire, what guitar are you grabbing?
2001 Les Paul Wine Red Standard. It was I got it new from the factory in 2001. It was my first brand new Les Paul. It's heavy as shit, which means it's good. And I play it a lot. I don't play it on the road a whole lot. I used to. I play it in the studio mostly because it's just a monster. Just screams. It's a straight up rock and roll. Just Jimmy Page, Billy Gibbons, rock and roll guitar. It really is. But that guitar is probably my favorite. The one I hold closest.
Do you play Gibson acoustics or? I think
I do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I've got a couple of those, and they're amazing guitars.
I got one at the garage right now, getting doctored on.
Oh,
the hole in the side of it.
We were talking about your mom's guitar. I don't play at all. First of all, but my grandfather played guitar growing up when I was growing up, and he left me I think it's a '63 Gibson acoustic.
Oh,
my grandma one time was like, "Here's all Grandpa's guitars," and she opened up like 3 cases, and I looked, and I was like, "This one's a Gibson. That might be something." Like I don't know much about guitars, but I know the word Gibson.
Yeah.
And I brought it up here to Ben. Told me some guitar place here. Is it? No, not that one. Nags?
No. It's
starts with a G.
Groom?
Yeah. I took it over there, and they got it all like fixed up for me and told me how to store it properly and stuff. But
yeah,
it had some kind of illegal wood it was made out of that you ain't allowed to have in the United States anymore.
That's gonna make it worth even more, right there. Yeah. Man.
So like you can't. Import
how much did they tell you it was worth?
A little bit under 8,000.
Oh yeah. Damn! Yeah,
yeah. That's crazy.
That's a nice thing to. Yeah,
it was just pretty cool. It's because it was my grandpa's. Really, the only thing I care about. But I thought it was kind of cool. It's in really good shape and.
So let's talk about this project you've been working on. That's what sparked this whole thing. I was like, I saw you around. I was like, man, I'd love to have you on the podcast. we'll touch on the Jon stuff, but let's talk about, what you got going on.
Well, here's what I got going on, man. And I'll start this story off, and hopefully it's not too long. But during COVID, I was bored as shit, and I met a guy. We were at the Porch Light thing, and he works with Billy Decker, an engineer in town, but he's a guitar player. And I'm like, man, do you know anybody wants to start a band, do something? He's like, well, I do, and I got the guys. So we started playing this bar out called Scoreboard out here.
We love Scoreboard.
That's one of my favorite. That's like my favorite.
Best bar in Nashville.
That's my favorite bar.
I mean, it's the place
Shout
to
out
go,
Scoreboard.
dude.
That's my favorite bar. That's like my home bar. And I know a bunch of people there, and the owner was like, well, how about doing Thursday nights or something? So we did, and we started doing this rock and roll project, and it was a lot of fun. And I mean, we're doing everything. We're doing everything from like we do like Frampton and Joe Walsh, and hell, we do from like Van Halen to Billy Idol to Buck Cherry. I mean, we were rocking fuck out, and people were really getting into
rocking the fuck out.
Yeah, dude, that bar is
that's the only way to rock. Is the fuck out.
The fuck out.
And but it was a great time, man. And but things kind of got back to normal, and the other guys in the band, they have artist gigs too, and so we all kind of went back to work. Started going back to work, and I was just like, man, do you guys want to actually like do something, like make a record? And they're like, hell yeah, we'd love to get some music out. So probably for the past, I don't know, almost year, we've been in the studio trying to do stuff in our spare time. And it's kind of like you're talking about your buddy that does the thing at Live Oak. I call it Southern rock, but there's everything from like Southern rock to like almost like progressive rock to blues rock to just straight up metal on this thing.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for people to hear it. It might scare the shit out of them. I don't know. I hope so. But
we'll definitely listen to it.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be interesting. And like I said, I wanted to put out some music for people that just kind of felt left behind with all the social media stuff, man, and just didn't understand like what this whole TikTok and Instagram thing was about, man, and just like. It's just like, I just want to hear something really cool that, doesn't sound like all the rest of this stuff. And I feel like I maybe am putting this out for them and for me too as well. But, and also anybody that's like, fuck it, I just want to rock.
Yeah. Rock the fuck out.
And that's what I
mean,
do.
one thing, it's like, you touched on it a little bit, but like, you always have this thing inside of you that wants to create something that maybe people wouldn't quite understand. And I have that too, I just put together a 15-song record and I'm pumped. I feel like every song is fucking awesome.
Killer.
We had like so many meetings, I signed at River House and we've been working on this record. And we're going to put it out next year and it's awesome and everything. Oh. But like, I have this thing for sad songs, you know what I mean? It's like, I just want to like, that's not, quite as commercial, and like, I still have that thing, but
I can tell. I was listening to a bunch of your stuff the past couple of days.
Yeah.
You got some, but not sad in a bad way. It's sad
it's more like heartfelt.
It can kind of, you can kind of feel it right here, man.
Yeah. Well, thanks, dude. I appreciate that.
I get it. I do.
But it's like, I think at some point, it's not about like, what's the coolest thing or like what's gonna like I mean of course because I want to put out music that my fans like and make someone want to go yoo-hoo with their beer and kiss that girl that they brought to the date with them and make them feel something. But at the same time I feel like there's certain songs that are just part of your legacy, you know what I mean? Like I don't have kids. I doubt I will,
Me too.
like we said, but my nephew or like my mom or my sister, one day and be like, man, I wonder what Trey was thinking in 2010. Oh, let me go listen to, his record and that's how he was feeling. That's where he was. I wonder where Trey's mind was when he went through his divorce. You know what I mean?
Be part of your story. Tell your story.
Go listen to that. Oh, that's what he was thinking. You know what I mean? It's just like at some point, like our music. I feel like music lasts forever, and music is our like it's a universal language, and we get a certain thing from music that we can't get anywhere else, and it's like you get to leave that behind. So
and
put it out.
And you know what I think is like really touching on what you just said, man, like writing those type of songs, man, I feel like a lot of these new artists, they have no idea what those type of songs are.
Yeah.
Because they have people writing songs for them specifically for the radio, and they have no true life experience, man. They don't know what it means to go through really hard times or go through a fucking divorce or,
and do it sober.
And that would even be worse. I can't even imagine.
It was terrible. I lived it.
Oh, I just look at it like at least I can sit down and, even if somebody else doesn't want to write it with me, I can sit down and I can write a song about a true life experience because I've lived it and I've learned it.
Yeah.
And this is something I'm putting out in the world, and you can take these words to heart.
Yeah.
You can take every note that I'm singing to heart. And I just feel like a lot of the music out there these days, that is not what it's about. And
for sure.
It makes me sad. It really does.
There's some good stuff though.
There is.
You know what I mean?
And I'm not, don't get me wrong, man.
Yeah.
The guy I play for, he's one of them. Fucking great, man.
Yeah.
And there's a few other artists that I'm like, okay, I can
Ain't Always the Cowboy. What a hammer, dude.
I mean, that's a great song,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
And it's something that I think people can really feel, you
Yeah.
know? And that's what makes a great song, and a lot of the songs that I hear out there just that I can't connect with these days,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I want to get back to that, have something that I'd love to be a guy that I can write something that people can connect with. You know, for sure.
You put out a project in 2018, right? Or 19? You did like a 5-song EP.
It's probably closer to 2017. I
Okay.
want to say something like that. Yeah.
Because I remember listening to that. I was like, I fuck with this.
Yeah.
You had a song called something about America, wasn't it?
American Buzz, baby.
American Buzz.
That was the
That's
name
it.
that was the name of
Yeah.
the EP, man.
Yeah.
American Buzz. That's hey man, I love America and I love to catch a buzz. So
Put the
Hell
two
yeah.
together.
I mean, hell yeah.
actually, the idea for that song wasn't me. Brett Young came up to me and he was texting me and he said, "What you doing for the 4th?" Blah blah blah. Oh man, we're out touring or whatever. He's like, "Well, catch a buzz for America."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "There's a song in that."
American Buzz.
And I came up with the chorus of American Buzz. And I wrote the first verse and chorus. And I was like, man, I got to put him as a writer on this. So we got together and wrote the second verse. And that's how the song came about. But, man, I love America. And I love everything it stands for.
Yeah.
And if you're a citizen of this country and, you're one of the lucky son of bitches on the planet, man. That's the way I feel about it.
For sure.
Are you writing a lot right now?
Man, really, if I am, I'm writing more for my stuff than I am for other artists. But I try to make it a point for at least a couple times a month to do some co-writes just with some of the other people that I enjoy writing with.
Yeah.
One thing that I've done recently, there's an artist named Tyler Booth.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody
Yeah, we love Tyler Booth.
He evidently cut one of my songs.
Hell yeah. Congrats, dude.
And I love Tyler and his dad. If they're watching or they see this, I love you guys. They're great. And I've got another thing that's a possibility that I'm not going to talk about, but hopefully near the end of the year, maybe something happens with that. So I'm always trying to, even if I'm not writing for myself, I want to write with other people and other artists and stuff because I think it only expands your creativity in general because you can kind of get a feel for what other people are thinking or what they want. And, maybe at the time and you're in that room or whatever, you're not into it.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot. But maybe that experience or something maybe shifts your focus in a way that maybe the next time you're writing with somebody, it gives you a different, direction or a different angle or something. Or maybe when you sit down just to write by yourself or whatever, it affects you in a way that, it makes you write a song or start a song that you wouldn't have otherwise. So I do enjoy, co-writing with people for that fact. Even if you don't come out of the room with some banger song or whatever, you know,
We got a banger.
we got a banger. But and maybe you come at it with a different perspective, maybe a way that you weren't looking at it, you know, writing a song before. And so
sure.
nothing. It's just like they say, there are no bad ideas. That's true. It goes in songwriting too. Even if you sitting in a room with somebody and you're like, "This is a bad idea."
Well, we're not going to get
Yeah.
a friend of mine, Reed Halton. He's at River House too.
Yeah.
I wrote with him recently, and he's like, "Man, I'll never forget the first time me and you wrote together. It was like me, him, Ella, and Clay." He's like, "We were like 15 minutes into the ride, and you just stood up and said, 'Well, we ain't gonna get nothing today.'" And I was like, "I don't remember doing that. I'm sorry, man."
Well, sometimes you just feel that
sometimes
way,
it be
man.
like that,
You do,
you know?
man.
You've done your like 10th ride of the week, you know.
And it just and you're like creatively spent, man.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine doing that. Like, you know, if I had to, like, even if songwriting was all I did and that was my job, was to go 5 days a week, write 1 or 2 songs or whatever. By the end of the week, I'm like, guys, I'm spent. I ain't got nothing for you.
Yeah.
I got all my whole creative bank has been spent for the week. So it's just
I need to go live a little bit of life.
Yeah, I need to do something other than this. Sitting in a room with you trying to be creative.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing creative about looking at these damn walls, you know. And unless you come to me with some like idea that's like, I'm just like, oh, you know, gets the creative waterfalls going again. It's just not going to happen, you know. But that's, you know, part of what songwriting is in this town, you know. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't, you know. And I mean, you just gotta, you know, gotta roll that way.
Speaking of songwriting,
do you love being on the road?
Man, sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I mean, sometimes it's awesome. Sometimes it sucks, you know.
Yeah.
But
what about sleeping on the bus? You like that?
Man, sleeping on the bus is fine. I have no problem, and I'll tell you why. Because usually by the time I go to sleep, I've had about, 18, 19 drinks, and I'm just out.
I'm an Advil PM guy. At the end of the night,
yeah?
I'm drunk. I'll pop me 2 Advil PM, and I'll
See,
sleep like a
I think
baby.
that's
I would-
kind of dangerous.
I would do that, man.
Might be. Who knows?
I gotta be honest with you.
But I do like cold beer every now and then.
I gotta be honest
on
with
them.
you. That would probably give me a worse hangover.
No,
Then
I wake up feeling like $1 million.
See, if I do like an Advil PM or something, I feel like I wake up groggy, and I'm just like, oh my God.
If you're sober, yeah. But if you're drunk, you wake up feeling great.
Maybe I just learned
trick.
something.
Yeah.
Just try Xanax next.
But I do love Fig Newtons.
I got the Xanax too. Don't worry.
Terry Lee, man, this has been great, dude. Thanks for coming on the podcast, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having
Well,
me,
I still
man.
got a little segment I got to
Oh
do.
yeah, you got to play us a song.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's called Verse and Chorus.
Yeah,
And you just got to play me a verse
Here's
and
a
chorus.
Just a version of chorus.
Here's $100 guitar.
Okay.
Hell, you can play as long as you want.
$100 guitar. Shit, man, you got a $50 guitar?
Yeah,
Yeah, we got one of those behind
Come
you.
on, man. Come on.
yeah. You want to play on the Dick Down to Dallas guitar?
Is that really the dick? Oh, yeah, it is. All right, this here song's called Angel and You by Terry Lee Palmer and the Ransom Devils. First single coming out sometime, hopefully, this year. And written by Terry Lee Palmer and Andy Buckner. And, I'm just going to kick everybody's ass. Here we go. Always been a nightlifer, whiskey drinking, good time, and never back down from a fighter. Sunday morning backslider, yes, true. Till I met the angel you. Always been a one-night stander, not the kind to hold your hand or love and leave them kind of man. Right or wrong, don't give a damn. Yes, true. Till I met the angel you. I was hell-bent on running my soul into the ground. You were heaven sent to turn my wicked ways around. Now the devil in me don't know what to do. Ever since he met the angel you. I always first to raise my glass or tell the world to kiss my ass or anyone up, take a drag. can't stop flirting with disaster. Yeah, it's true. Till I met the angel of you. I was hell-bent on running my soul into the ground. You were heaven sent to turn my wicked ways around. And now the devil in me don't know what to do. Ever since he met the angel of you. Woo! Every time I try to take a ride on that crazy train, you stop me in my tracks before I go up the flame. Yeah, 'cause I was hell-bent on running my soul into the ground. You were heaven sent to turn my wicked ways around. And now the devil in me don't know what to do. Ever since he met the angel of you, that ransom devil in me don't know what to do. Ever since he met the angel, Lord, angel you.
I think that's how we end the episode right there. Let's go. Thank y'all for watching the DM Monday podcast. Go follow Terry Lee Palmer. That was badass.
I mean, I don't know shit about guitar, but that can't be easy.
Trey, thank you for having me, buddy.
Thanks for being here, man. Y'all go rate and subscribe. Peace out.
You I was looking for, baby, even though I didn't know it at the time. Kinda wish you wouldn't have kept me waiting. Now I got you for the rest of my life. Worth the wait and all the heartache. Girl, your love ain't a minute too soon. The answer to the prayers that I prayed, it was always you. Can't say that it really makes sense. We're about as night and day as it gets. Like a missing piece, we just fit like your hand and mine does too. It was always you I was looking for, baby.